Hi and welcome to my channel everybody. Today we will talk about Noxus, its political structure, military structure and towns, cities and the region itself. So sit back, relax and enjoy. So, Noxus is one of the human nations on Valorant bordering Demacia, Zaun, the Freljord, Piltover and Zaun, and, to some extent, Shurima. In early history, what is today called Noxus was merely a multitude of barbaric tribes that lived around the region of the Immortal Bastion, but eventually they banded together and took over the Immortal Bastion, making it its capital. For a long time, Noxus was ruled by the general Boron Darkwill, but eventually, in his unending hunger, he would fall to the second attempt to assassinate him, the first one being a unified front of the patrician families and the corporation of the Black Rose, but due to Jericho Swain's intervention they failed, in which he personally killed his parents. Later, Swain himself would cooperate with the Black Rose in order to usurp the throne from Boron Darkwill. But of course he did not do so directly. In the time after Boron's death, Noxus was in a state of transition. While they were about to select a new Grand General, one candidate being Boron Darkwill's son, Kieran, and, of course, the later victorious Jericho Swain. But Swain wasn't really fond of the throne. All he wanted to do was help Noxus prosper further. Thus he created the Triferex, 3 rulers in order to counter any mad or corrupted instance by 2 others, each of them representing the principles of strength, vision, might, and guile. And that's how Noxus still operates today. So, let's first get started with its capital, Noxus Prime. It is not unusual to see armed warbands from all across the Empire in Noxus Prime. The streets and alleys are narrow and twisting, designed to frustrate any attacking force that managed to penetrate the city's outer defenses. In the center and heart of Noxus lays the Immortal Bastion, the first citadel to be claimed by the early Noxian tribes. Down below are the catacombs, the underground part of Noxus, a result of constant rebuilding of the Immortal Bastion and the region around it. The catacombs possibly are a meeting place for the Black Rose. Then there are the Stairs of Triumph, leading to the previous throne room known as the Audience Chamber, which leads us exactly to it, the Audience Chamber. The old cavernous throne room is now used by the Triferex, where they sit at a simple marble table at the foot of the throne's elevated platform to discuss and listen to envoys or leaders. Close to it is the Bleak Academy. The Bleak Academy was previously a lab built by orders of Mordekaiser to test and store arcane knowledge. Now it's a place for Noxian scholars and scientists alike. Also, there is the Grand Arena, the place where nobles and commoners alike gather to enjoy their favorite kind of entertainment, a blood sport known as the fleshing. And, of course, one other notable place of Noxus Prime would be the Ivory Ward, one of the wealthiest and most well-preserved districts in the city, named for its bone-white flagstones and known for its grand marketplace, at the center of which looms an ancient stone dragon inlaid with actual bone, another of Mordekaiser's personal touches. Some of the oldest households in the city are located here, some of them owning walled estates complete with their own gardens, a rare thing in the Stone City. Then I also assembled a couple of regions or towns belonging to Noxus that don't have much info, but at least have but at least have a geographical location on the map. For one, there would be Travail. Then there's Basilic, Darius and Draven's hometown, previously led by Stuart Quilletta, but now led by Stuart Invezia. The Drakengate, led by Stuart Algor Nimchi. The Bloodcliffs, led by Stuart Hovri IV. Then, a well-known place named Windor, famous all across Valoran for his horse breeding, led by Stuart Amanesk. Then of course Holgren, led by Stuart Jean, Ironwater, led by Stuart Aaron, Granit, led by Stuart Smick, Belzoon, led by Stuart Doric, Gereshni, led by Stuart Tafik, Rohrgrund, led by Stuart Katje, and Kilgrove, led by Stuart Dorwin. Also, something important to mention are the Nox Torah, Nox's signature aqueduct-like walls all across the regions conquered or belonging to the Empire. Now let's get to the family systems and how families work in Noxus. For one, there are lower class families. They actually don't exist to our understanding, since if they have a family name, it will only be registered once they reach the status of middle class, which also doesn't really exist. And if they don't have a name, they will be assigned one upon reaching middle class. Then, of course, there's middle class families. The only difference to them is that they have a bit more food and other necessities and a family name. Now the thing is, this is Noxus we are talking about, so everyone can become everything. They could become the leader, one of the Tripherics for example, through merit. But one thing they can never achieve is to become a patrician family. These families are noble houses that have existed since the first walls of Noxus. They lead a life of privilege and play key roles in the politics of Noxus. However, many of them, of course, corrupted by power, wanted more. Thus, they aligned themselves with a secret society known as the Black Rose in an attempt to usurp the throne from Darkwill, which failed thanks to Jericho Swain, which is kinda ironic, but never mind that. Now, I also gathered actually only 3 family names, and yeah, let's see. For one, there's Jericho family, which the only remaining member would be the Grand General of Noxus, Swain. The Ducouteau family, with their father and the Patriarch Marcus, his 2 daughters, Katerina and Cassiopeia, and an adopted son known as Talon. More members are not known, only that the Ducouteau family is almost royalty in Noxus, or was at least. And then there's the Vaughn family. The Vaughn, well, we don't really know anything about them. Only that Stuart Quilletta from Basilic and the lover or even wife of Darius had the last name Vaughn. Invezia has, as the daughter of Quilletta, the name Vaughn, and her fallen son too. But there's also the possibility that Darius and Raven are also Vaughns, which it's not confirmed, but it's being speculated. Now let's go over to the political structure and the use of the Tripherics within it. The Tripherics embodies the 3 core principles of strength that guides Noxus: vision, might, and guile, implemented by Swain. The idea is that Noxus need to be strong in all these areas, and if there's one in the Tripherics that has been led astray or is weak, 2 others can hold him accountable. Members of the Tripherics are the Grand General, Swain. He embodies the vision of Noxus. Then there's the Hand of Noxus, the leader of the Noxian armies, representing the might of Noxus, Darius. And the Faceless One. To be honest, there's nothing really known about him. He's the faceless one. Nobody has really seen his face, and you barely see him walk outside. Of course, there's that one short story where it's assumed that he walks outside, but it's not him. It's just that girl being played and killing her own brother in the process. Anyway, he is one of the co-leaders of Noxus and embodies guile. Let's go over to the military structure of Noxus. The Noxian army, for example, is the lifeblood of the empire, allowing the expansionist nation to conquer fertile lands to supplement its lack thereof. The Noxian army is the largest ground-based fighting force in Valorant, with hundreds of individual warbands. Then there's the navy, which is a collection of warships and trading ships. Warbands, individual localized units of the Noxian army. The war hosts, an organized group of warbands to conquer small regions and city-states or combat rival armies. The Legion, a large collective of war hosts, usually organized to stage the conquest of a large region. And the Triferan Legion, the most elite, respected and battle-hardened fighting force in Noxus. Their appearance alone causes many nations or regions to simply bend the knee. And they only listen to Darius, the Hand of Noxus. Alright, that's it. I hope you learned something from the video, and I sure hope I could give you some kind of overview of Noxus and how the inner workings are. If you liked it, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below to tell me what I can do better next time. Have a nice